Hey guys, welcome back to Jiva Shastra Abhyasa. I am your educator Ranjan Hegde. In this video, we are going to discuss about the pollen-pistil interaction. Let's finish off the first thing, that is, if you're new to this channel, please don't forget to subscribe to the channel because it's easy and free and also gives me to create more interesting videos. So then what's the wait? Let's begin. Yes, once again, so I need to give you the answer for the last question in the video, that is, which virus causes AIDS? The virus which causes AIDS is human immunodeficiency virus, which is also known as HIV. And the question for the day is, mention the name of the state butterfly of Karnataka. So what is pollen-pistil interaction and what it stands in the process of pollination, or we can say fertilization? So let's see what is it. Pollen, pistil. So these are the two very important parts of the male and female reproductive systems of the flower, isn't it? Yes. So pollen grain is termed as the male gamete, and the pistil is constituting of stigma, style, and the ovary, right? So these three is composed, termed as pistil. So then what is the interaction between them? That we are going to study in this video. Thus every pollen grain will be accepted by the stigma, that we are going to learn. Yes, so pollen grain, as you all know, that has two very important layers, that is exine and intine. The exine has the deposition known as sporopollenin, so which is specific to the composition of sporopollen is very specific to the each individual plant. Okay, now what is pollen pistil interaction? The interaction between the pollen grain and the pistil, the complete stigma, style, and the ovary, is what happens in this. So whenever the pollen grain comes in contact with the stigma, or it is deposited on the stigma sees the chemical composition of the pollen grain to identify whether the pollen grain is from the same species or it is from a different or another species. So whenever the chemical combination matches with the same species, then it will be termed as, then it will be accepted to grow or to undergo the process of post fertilization events, such as or post pollination events, even such as the growth of pollen tube. Happens only when the stigma accepts the pollen grain. So this pollen tube will be grown through the style, okay, into the style and reaches to the ovary. So as you all know how the growth of pollen tube takes place, you all know that the pollen tube comes out from the germ tube, right, which almost every 60% of the pollen grain is shed at a two-celled stage, you know that. So where we can see a single sperm and a nucleus. So, okay, nucleus. So what happens? The nucleus is going to dissolve. It is going to dissolve. The nucleus is going to dissolve, and it will lubricate the pollen tube, and which makes easy movement of the sperm, and the sperm reaches to the ovary and it penetrates, and there will be fertilization is going to take place. So if the stigma doesn't analyzes the chemical composition which is completely, if it is completely different, then there will be no such process. The complete process of fertilization will not take place. That is known as rejection of pollen grain. So it is completely depends upon the compositions of the chemicals. So mainly the sporopollenin, the pigment sporopollenin, and certain enzymes are there. Enzymes, lipids, and proteins are present in the intine region, so which will be chemically understandable for the stigma itself. And even the stigma is also having some of the polysaccharides, which will determine whether the pollen grain has to grow its pollen tube or not. So it is not much information for you people, but it will make you understand that if there is the composition is the same, that of the stigma and of the pollen grain, which matches, then only there will be growth of pollen tube and the further process of fertilization can takes place. So this is the story of pollen and pollen pistil interaction. So I hope you like this video. Until next time, let's hit the road of success together. Before going, I'm going to say one thing. Please don't forget to subscribe to the channel because it's easy and free. Jai Hind.